Welcome to another edition of MIW. Glad you could join me, guys. Glad you are here. Today I'm going to talk about being alone, which is not being with a girl, okay? Being single, not in a relationship. I have been in a relationship for years and years. I was married 4 times. For the longest I made it was 12 years. Another time, 3.5. Another time, that one didn't actually ever move in. That was a strange one. You want to know about that one? Read the book. It was supposed to come out in September, but my publisher told me we wouldn't have it out till October, or the end of October. So, but anyway, the longest I made, as I said, was 12 years, and in between those times, I was single. Now, it's okay being alone. There's another book I read. It's big and it's black, and you can probably guess what it is. A lot of wisdom in there. I'm not a religious man, but I like the wisdom. Okay? It says, better to dwell in the corner of a housetop than to dwell in a roomy house, or big house, with a quarrelsome woman. And I'm going to tell you what, from experience, that is true. You may be sitting there wishing you had a girlfriend because you're lonely, you're watching TV, or you're flipping on Pornhub, watching the variety they have there. And, maybe you're sitting there masturbating to that, thinking about a woman, and you feel empty afterwards. You need to stop that, because what that does, it satisfies your desires for sex and doesn't give you the strength and motivation to go out there and actually do something with a real person, because it's almost like lying to yourself when you do that. You're telling your body that you're having sex, but you're actually not. It also leaves you feeling kind of flat and empty, I'm sure, doesn't it? So, if you can stay away from doing that, you will find yourself actually going out and approaching girls. But back to being alone. I'll give you an example. When I'm alone, here's what I do. I do this whether I'm alone or I'm not alone. I always said I would get along better with a girl if we had lived in I live in this big house right here, right? It's got, I don't know how many rooms, but it's a big old 2-story house. And I actually have an Airbnb downstairs in the back room, okay? I don't use the room. I would get along better with her if she were down there and I was up here in my room and we just met once in a while. Because I'm telling you, familiarity breeds contempt. What that means is when you spend a lot of time with somebody in close quarters. I worked on a barge one time and they call it red ass. It's when people are in close proximity, too many hours of the day, they start picking each other apart. They start looking for the flaws. And you do that with a woman, you can get a lot of bickering back and forth. But I always said I would get along better with them if that were the case. So they lived in one apartment, I lived in another. Okay, but when you're alone, what I do, like I said, when I'm alone or I'm not alone, I'll get up in the morning. Usually what I do is I lay in bed and I visualize how I want my life to be. I may say some affirmations, because between sleeping and waking is when your subconscious mind is the most susceptible to impressions. And you can program, it's called auto programming. I don't know if it's auto programming, well, you get the picture, okay? It's almost like hypnotizing yourself. But you do that every morning before you wake up when you're kind of half asleep. And you see yourself being, doing, and having all the things you want. And then you get up and you go about your day. So I'll do that for maybe a half an hour. And then I get up. I drink an energy drink. I don't drink coffee anymore. I go sit down, and on my wall I have my story. The story about how I want my life to be. We all have a story. You can always write a new one. So if you don't like the way your life is, write a new story. And I will set the timer for only 7 minutes, and I read that, and I stop on each paragraph. It's like three short pages, 5 by, what are they? 3 by 5 cards. I got them on the wall. Okay, so I read those, and I'll stop at each paragraph, and I visualize myself being the person and doing the things that I have on there. Okay, that's what I do. I do that for 7 to 10 minutes. My timer goes off at 7. I may go for a few more minutes if my kids don't come up and bother me. All right? So I do have kids living in the house. My kids, that's it. So I do that, And after I do that, I turn on my computer. Maybe I'll check my email. Then maybe I'll go to the bathroom. After I do that, I do some reading while I'm doing my bathroom things. I sit on the throne, do some reading, and get done with that. I start putting my clothes on. I get ready. Sometimes I'll work out in the morning too. I may get in a spell where I work out every morning almost. I do it all the time in the morning. Right now, I'm working out in the evening. So, okay, so I'll go to work. I have my own company, so I go to work, get the boys ready. We load the truck up. We go to work, okay? We work throughout the day, and what I do all day, because I'm self-employed, I can do this. I listen to YouTube videos. A lot of what I listen to is about, I listen to a lot of red pill stuff. I listen to pickup artists. I also listen to a lot of metaphysical stuff, because all the power, okay, whatever you're going to be has to be done in your mind first. So I do a lot of work on myself. The last girl I went out with, I broke up with last July or something. What I did when I broke up with her was I just started looking into myself and working on myself. And from that, I learned so much about myself. Too many times people break up with a girl and all they think about is her, and they're trying to get her back and all this stuff. You know, she may or may not come back. What does it matter? You may think you want her more than anything in the world, but I'm going to tell you what, I've wanted a lot of girls in life, and I'm 60 years old, all right? I have seen a lot of beautiful girls that I wanted. Some of them I was with, some I wasn't with. Some of them I was with, and I wanted them to be my girlfriend. And 2 or 3 years down the road, I'm looking at them, they've just pulled the pin on the fat grenade, or they've been partying hard, and they look like crap. And I'm thinking, man, I'm glad I didn't get what I wanted. I mean, I've seen that happen so many times. These girls, I mean, I'm 60 now, I still date girls that are 18, 19, 20, 23, 24. Most girls now, by the time they're hitting 22 or 23, they done been through the ringer. You can see it in their face. They lose that sparkle in their eyes. I mean, it's kind of sad, but it happens. The problem is most of these girls don't have a daddy or a strong daddy enough to tell them, say, look, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing to yourself, and it's going to wear and tear on you. They just don't know it. By the time they're 23, 25, and for sure by the time they're 27, they still got the same, I mean, if they haven't pulled the pin on the fat grenade, they still got the same facial structure, but it wears on them, that partying, the smoking cigarettes or vapes or drinking and out late all night, and the drugs or whatever they're doing. I don't know why, it just does. Guys, it doesn't quite affect them as much. So, let me see, where was that? I lost my place. So, what I'm saying is, when you got this time alone, you need to really focus on yourself. Because if you've broken up with your girlfriend or you've never had a girlfriend, apparently you don't have any game. Or you don't have any status. Money, muscles, and game. Okay? Out of all those three, I would have to say, now the money is not so much money as it equates with status. So you need to be making money. If you're a man of status, you're usually out there making. I forgot where I was at. I had a dog crisis there. I had to get up and leave. It's kind of hard sometimes to record with 6 kids and what, 2 dogs, 3 dogs, I don't know, three chihuahuas in here. So I had them locked in the room, but somebody let them out. Where was I at? Geez, I forgot. I was talking about being a man of status, money, muscles, and game. You really need to work on yourself. You need to get to a point where it doesn't matter whether you have a woman or not, okay? Because a man can spend too much time trying to find a woman thinking that's going to be his answer to, that's his happiness. If I just had a woman, everything would be great. Here's what it is. If you go out there and you make money, build your business, build your status, your worth, whatever it happens to be within yourself, okay, and then you get in good shape, and that's not so much for the woman as that you feel better about yourself. I'm in really good shape. I'll put a picture on this video. I'm 60 years old, and I feel good. I mean, that's why I can go out with younger girls, because I feel good about myself, and I look good. It's how you feel. You take care of yourself, and I don't work that hard at it. It's really not that hard to stay in great shape. Okay, just stay the hell away from the fast food joints. All right, and then game is something, you have such a wonderful opportunity like Sparty Fortune. Listen to him. I mean, that guy helped me out a lot. I listened to him because he's a younger guy, and I was dating younger girls, and things are very different with social media. So I learned a lot from that guy. So you can learn a lot from him. There's a lot of other guys on the red pill side. That is really important too, because we grow up in a society that tells us that you got to be this nice guy and treat women a certain way. And I'm telling you what, from about 28 years of experience, that doesn't work. Okay, what does work is what a woman will tell you she doesn't like. You know what, like I said, what pisses her off, that's what works. What they say they don't like is what they like. Okay, you go be a nice guy. Just try it out. See how well that works for you. It doesn't work, okay? I'm not saying you got to be a dick to girls and cuss them and treat them like a dog, but I have seen guys do that and the girls chase them. But you have to think when you meet a girl that you need to look to see if you're going to like her instead of wondering if she's going to like you. Getting off track again here. Back to what you do. So I go to work when you're alone. I come home from work, I just sit here in my room and I relax for a while. I read my story again. I visualize myself doing that. I get done whatever business I have to get done here. And then I usually work out for about an hour with the weights. I have a gym here in my house. I do that. And I may sit and listen to another YouTube video on something that I want to learn. Okay, and then I'll meditate for a half an hour to 45 minutes. Go in and take a shower. Sometimes I'll do that before I shower, after. And then I go out. I have a meeting or a couple meetings I have to go to. I go do that. I come home after that, and I'll come back to my room, do some reading or listen to a YouTube video or just relax and get ready for bed. Basically, what you need to do when you're single and you're alone is focus on yourself. If you can build yourself, it's like that, what was that Field of Dreams? Build it and the people will come. Same thing here, buddy. If you build yourself and work on yourself, the girls will come. I know you maybe can't logically figure out how that works, but that is how it works. When you become a man of worth and you're a man who really believes inside, it's kind of like Sparty says, I'm a 10, all right? Does everybody think I'm a 10? Probably not, but I think I am. When I'm out there, I think every girl looks at me and thinks about how goddamn good looking I am, all right? Do they? I don't know. I don't care. But that's the way I feel about myself. And I'm going to tell you what, the world starts bearing witness to that. But you really got to believe it inside. And when you do, you project that out into the world. And people will start saying things to you. Girls will say, oh, you're really handsome. I had a guy get out of the truck one time that I was doing business with. Just out of the blue, he says, hey, I heard you're one of the best looking guys in Lincoln County. And I'm like, what? I didn't know if I heard it. And I asked him again, and he said that. I'm like, and he's not gay or anything. He's married, got kids. I'm like, what the hell? But it's because for over a year, I've been got the kids in the park driving by. Over a year, for 2 or 3 years, I look in the mirror every day and tell myself I love myself. I tell myself how good looking I am. Now, you may think that's arrogant, but it works, okay? I'm gonna tell you, if you don't think you're good looking, if you don't think you're high value, if you don't think you're high status, you will never be able to project that out into the world, and no one will ever perceive you like that. And that all comes from being alone and working on yourself. And when you go out into the world, you'll see the difference. But you can't just work on yourself for a week or 2 weeks or a month and then give up and say it doesn't work, because you did not get to be the person you are in a week or a month. It took you years to get to this point. So, I mean, it could happen overnight, but usually it takes time. But if you do that continually, visualize, verbalize, affirm, look in the mirror, tell yourself that you love yourself. Yeah, you feel stupid the first few times you do it. You look in the mirror and say, I'm a 10. I'm great. I'm fantastic. Man, you're beautiful. You're more beautiful every day. Yeah, it sounds hokey. It sounds stupid. But is what you're doing working? Probably not if you're watching this, okay? So try it. Try it for a month. Try it for a year. Say it till you mean it. Say it with emotion. Use the same emotion when you say those things in the mirror that you use when you tried to pick up on this girl and she blew you off and treated you like a dog, when you tell your buddies about it. Use that same emotion. Use whatever anger you have inside of you to change yourself. Because you're never going to change anybody out there. but you can change yourself. Anger is not a bad emotion. You can use that emotion for anything you want to. It's how you act and what you do with that anger, just like any emotion, fear or anything. You can use that constructively. The sexual desire can be used constructively and not just be used to have sex. I love sex though, I'm telling you. I love beautiful women. I love being with beautiful women. I always have. It was difficult for me to be faithful and be married, but I did it. Although my wives kept bringing home girls for me to be with. It's like, yeah, and then I would be with them and they'd get pissed off. Go figure. That's a whole nother video there. All right, thanks for joining me. Smash that like button. And like I said, check out Sporty Fortune. He's great. He's got some good stuff. And thanks for joining me. See you next time. Be cool, man.